is a people thing.
Absolutely.
And the people are destroy animals.
They do. And
And
we've
you
seen
guys are
just,
rescuers, not in the
yeah,
sense like a rescue, benevolent rescue, give us money and all that crap,
yeah.
but in the sense that you really care for them and the people that are associated with them.
I think that's the other thing that makes us unique next to our driving is that for us,
You're
it's
driving.
my driving.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come meet me. But is the fact that this isn't just about dogs, what we do. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
God willing, we'll do it for a long time, but it's about the people. And we've
Right.
made so many awesome relationships.
Yes.
And dogs
And
are the bridge.
they are. They're the
Yeah.
total bridge, and they are such a healing animal. And
Mhm.
and I still, most of our adopters, let's see, we just adopted out our 106th dog. It's a tongue twister.
3 years.
106.
One return.
Okay, so the big rescues say 106. What a bunch of piddly little
We have
jerks.
actually
Now
heard
here's,
that.
Here's the process
Yeah.
that you go through that they would never go through is incredible. So one of the most incredible stories that I keep in my memory is when you cleaned out a whole shelter. And it's a small shelter.
I forgot about that.
Yes,
Yes.
Lamar.
Lamar.
Lamar, yeah.
I mean, and nobody, I mean, that is awesome.
It was awesome.
Nobody had
For
anything
one
to
day.
do for a couple of
Yeah.
days or a day or whatever, but to
Right.
have, you explain what happened from that day.
Well, and it is like many of my typical days going into the shelters, and I visit, I wish I knew the number off the top of my head. It's maybe eight different shelters around southeastern Colorado, and I'm in and out of them all month long. A lot of times, and especially in the beginning, it was more like I would get a call, hey, we have this certain dog. So I wasn't in the shelters as much in the beginning. It was more rescues reaching out and saying, we've got a dog that's causing us trouble. Do you think you can help? And so we were taking in a lot of dogs from different rescues. And then we really started to focus on these shelter dogs that were essentially being euthanized because of things that I knew we could fix. Like they're jumping on me too much, or they're a little too excited. They have so much energy.
Growl.
They're growling. They're scared. They're withdrawn. They're nervous. And so those were the dogs I go into all the shelters and we do behavioral evaluations. And I usually will ask the shelter managers who's been here the longest, and then also who is in threat of being euthanized. If someone walked in today and say you have to pick somebody to be euthanized, who would that be for you? And then that is the dog we pull out of the shelter normally.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think people need to understand that there's limited space in rural Colorado and there's
So
limited
limited
resources.
funds, yeah.
So talk a little bit about what we, about that what happens and what we recommend, that we don't recommend that all dogs come into our program, or some of them are painfully struggling and are never
Yeah.
going to be right in the brain.
And that is the harsh reality that I think nobody likes to talk about.
Right.
I just talked to a shelter director the other day who said something about being a no-kill shelter, and I really had to explain to him what that term means.
Yes.
And what it means for us is that it's false. There's no such thing, for me anyway. And
Really for anybody.
Really. But there are some dogs, and this is the part of the job that is really tough, and the part that I don't normally talk about because not everybody is okay with it.
Right.
But I go into all these shelters, and I'll usually have a shelter manager say, I've got one over here, like he's doing A, B, and C. I think he might be aggressive. I don't trust him. They know. They're working with these dogs, all day long. Some of them, who are able to be in the shelter all day. And so I'll pull that dog out and go through numerous different evaluations. Most of the places they don't have a special room for me to go or a quiet area. So a lot of times I'm out in the garage or the shed or the back, behind the building or something.
It's loud.
It's loud, it's stressful, and we always take that into consideration that it's not a fun place for the dogs to
Yeah.
be. The shelter managers do an incredible job trying to make it a loving engagement type of place, but anyway, there are those dogs where when I leave, I have to give them my behavioral evaluation and say, I would recommend behavioral euthanasia for this dog. The medical cases are a little easier. The shelter managers don't need me for that. They know which dogs are struggling medically. It's the mentally struggling
Yes.
ones. And I would tell you that, and I mentioned it earlier, that humans are a big part of what we do. And it is because of that I cannot in good conscience say, yes, send this dog out into the world where he could potentially bite somebody. And
You can't talk about that. You can't love all these dogs back. Everybody thinks,
Yeah.
or not everybody, but a lot of rescues, it's emotionally based. It's not factually based.
We find that from a lot of
Yeah.
community members too. And I'll have people tell me the dog just needs love.
Yes.
And I would agree with everyone that love is a component of
Yes.
what we do. And I usually tell everybody there's 3 rules when you're rehabilitating or dog training. The first one is patience. You have to be patient. The second is you need to be consistent. And then the third one is love. We never put love first because love is not the language dogs speak initially. And this is why we
So
started the
important.
Speak Dog program.
Yes.
Yeah, because we need people to understand how to speak dog, and they something loving to them is much different than us. Like, we may want to give somebody a hug, and that's how we show love. That's going to really freak most dogs out, and potentially a dog might bite somebody.
Right.
You know, we make a lot of eye contact so people know we're listening. And I think for dogs, that's extremely rude. It can be very challenging. And so when you get down and you're talking to a dog and you're saying, "Oh, I just love you," yeah.
Get your face in there.
That's
Oh,
that's
and
a
you've seen that happen to me.
I
mean,
did.
you actually witnessed that happening to me. So.
Yeah, no, it's scary. So I think for people to say that a dog just needs love, that is true. But the definition of what love is
Yes.
is really misinterpreted, I think, for
Totally.
the general public.
That is really, really good.